Well, we need to clean up this absolute filth. Have a look at that. What is going on, guys? Mitch here with another episode of our Hyundai XL build. Now today we're going to be painting the interior of this car. Now on a previous video, which I'll link up the top, we put our floor pan in. The new floor pan went in, and I've gone ahead and just primed that now with some silver steel primer to get that ready to go. But last night I also went ahead and painted the rear of the car. Now I'm actually really stoked with the way this came out and the brightness of this the paint that I chose to use. So I'll just show you this now, and I'll show you the paint I'm actually using this, because it's actually not expensive at all. Look at that. Looks absolutely fantastic. So we got most of the back section done. I'm just working in sections at the moment just to get this this done fairly neatly. And the paint we were actually using for this is straight from Bunnings, the good old Rust-Oleum 2x Ultra Cover Paint and Primer Metallic Aluminium. So that's the paint we're using for this at the moment. I have also, as we go along, painting up a few different things for the car. I put a satin finish. I'm going for a matte, satin matte black finish, just painting the handbrake. Now I know people say, well, it's already black. Well, I wanted to tidy it up, so we'll do that. Even little things like the rear hatch, the hatch latch that goes on the car. It was a bit gross and yuck, so I painted that up. Didn't need to paint that side because that's the side that goes against the car. But that's come out absolutely smashing. And then down here, I'm still trying to get one off the car, but even this is the latch for the door latch for the passenger side, so it's come up really well as well. Now we'll get to painting the interior. I do have to do a bit of tidy up, and then once that's all painted, masked up, painted, we can go and then redo our wiring. So I went down to J-Car and got a whole bunch of loom tube, just some split tubing there that I can tidy up the wiring with, and then get this thing actually looking neat and tidy within the interior of the car, because at the moment, like you saw at the start of the video, it is really messy, and I just want to get this thing nice and squared away, so when the roll cage goes in, I'm not trying to paint around the roll cage. It's already done, already painted, and the roll cage is looking neat and tidy. So without further ado, let's get to it. Alright guys, so the first section we're going to do for today is just this little back section just in here. I've already taped up the windows so I don't get any paint on those. Taped up the fuel pump, where the fuel pump sits in there, to the fuel tank. And then now it's just time to give it a good squirt of paint in here, and I'll stop probably just about here, because then I'll prep this area and then get that ready for paint. I think I might even just get all the wiring down here before I do this part. I'll do all the wiring in there and do this section last as I'm out of the car. So let's get to this section now. so that's been, that section there's been painted. It's come out really nicely, so I'm just going to turn my Big Fan Brutus on here and get rid of some fumes out of there. It'll blow it straight out the front. And yeah, it's looking really good so far. Really happy with that. There's a few different places I just need to touch up, but other than that, it's really good. Alright guys, so this is coming up really nicely now. So I've painted this back section just through there. It's got that nice metallic shine to it. And if we come around the driver's, oh sorry, the passenger side, also given that a paint in there, so it's come up really nicely. And I'll show you the part I was really worried about, which was the staining I showed you just down here at the start of the video. So if I come around here, you can see that that's pretty much all gone now. So that's come up a treat. So I've done the doors, done the floor pan. The next section I just have to do now is this new floor pan, and then the driver's footwell down there, and get that all squared away. And then pretty much that'll be the painting done. I'm not too worried about getting paint on these trims along here because I will be replacing these once I finish painting it. And I might even tape off down along here and just give the sills a bit of a paint down there as well, all the way around. But other than that, I'm actually pretty stoked with the way this is coming out because it's turning out really nicely. And yeah, I can't wait to see it all finished because I think it'll look very good. Alrighty, so I had to make another trip just down to Bunnings to pick up a few more cans of paint because I ran out. So I'm putting it on pretty thick just to get it a nice even coat on it, nice thick coat. And now we're up to doing a new modified floor pan and then all this stuff down here where the wiring is. So I'll just move all that stuff over and then get back to getting this prepped and ready to go. Just give it a bit of a wipe over and then give it a quick squirt. So yeah, so far I'm really happy how this is all coming out. It's actually looking really schmick. So I'll prep this, get rid of the extra cables I don't need, tidy up the stuff there that's going to be in the way, and then give it a bit of a spray. Alrighty, we've painted this down here now. It looks absolutely phenomenal. And I've also gone ahead and painted the sills of the door the same colour. I don't know if you can see it. It's a bit metallic through there. I've taken the trim that comes off along here. I'm going to be replacing all that. I've done that to both sides. I've taken the tape off the windows, like there, and then down the back here, I've taken the tape off where I was masking all the areas I didn't want to get paint. So that's come out really well. Put the latch back on for the rear latch here. That's back on, hooked up, and then the on the door sills here where I painted the latch for the door, that's back on there too. So that's all tidied up. So now it's just getting into tidying up the wiring down here, and then we'll go on to fixing up putting everything back in the car, like the handbrake, the gear selector, the gear shifter, tidying all that stuff back up, hooking back up the leads here for the hatch and the fuel flap, get all that taken care of, and then we should be good to get the seat in and the cage whenever I order the cage and get that in. So really happy with the way it's coming out. A few little things I want to touch up on in the car, but that can be wait till another day. It's not urgent. But yeah, we'll start working on this wiring down here now, just putting a bit of split loom tube on there, making it all nice and neat and tidy, and then we'll get on to getting it back in the car all hooked up, and then we'll call it a day. All right. So I've cleaned up this wiring loom now. This is the one that comes from the dash all the way to the back of the car and weaves its way through the different parts of the car. I'm going to be using 3 different types of split tube or loom tube, whatever you want to call it. Here I've got some, this is 10mm, I've got some 19mm, and I've got some 7mm. So the 19mm I'll use all on thicker stuff like this, keep that nice. 10mm will be going on the medium size part of the loom here, and then the 7mm will go on this smaller stuff here, just to keep it nice and neat and tidy. I will be keeping it nice and enclosed, just using some really small zip ties. Simple reason being is that I really don't like using electrical tape, because once it's been on there for a while, it gets sticky, it gets gooey, and I really hate dealing with that. So I'd much rather just use a few zip ties, keep it nice and neat, don't do them up too tight. And if you need to get back into the wiring loom, instead of just unwinding a whole bunch of electrical tape, just snip off a few, carefully, a few zip ties, and then you're straight into the loom tube, into your wiring loom, doing what you need to do. So we'll get to this, once it's all done, then we can weave it around to the different parts of the car that we need to hook it back up. As you can see, guys, it's a bit hot today. Yeah, sweating like a pig. But I did get the wiring finished, and this is what it looks like. So it may look a bit messy, but it's actually quite simple now. It's quite well laid out. You know where everything goes. There's no random wires just hanging out anywhere, and it's going to be super easy just to thread straight through to the back. So I might come back tomorrow and do this, because I'm just a little bit tired today. Just the heat's taking it out of me. So I'll leave it here. I'll come back tomorrow and we'll start threading this through, and then we'll start getting the shifter and the handbrake all tidied back up. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. All right, new day, guys. Today we're getting the wiring back in. We have the gear shift, or the shifter mechanism going back in the car, handbrake going in, all that kind of stuff, getting it all buttoned up, ready to go back in, and then tidying it all up, so then we can then move on with the next part of the build. So first step is just putting the wiring in, and then tidying up a bit of the stuff at the back of the car, and then we'll get onto the shifter mechanism, and then also the handbrake as well. We'll get onto that. So let's do it.
Alright guys, that's all now back in. That's a few cable ties just to tidy up there, just trim off the tags. But if you look up the back, it's all nice and neat and tidy running across the back up there. These ones just got to hook into the loom that comes over here. Fuel pump just has to be connected up, and then it should be all good to fire up. So I'm actually really happy with the way and the neatness it's coming along. It's going to tidy this thing up really, really nicely. So I'll get the handbrake in next, then we'll get the shifter mechanism in, and then we'll hook up the fuel pump, get a few things tidied up there, put this other bit of the loom in, and then we'll be good to go. Alright, we have the handbrake in. As you can see, I'm absolutely filthy and sweaty, and it might have something to do with that nice dark cloud coming over here. It is absolutely stinking humid right now, so we'll get the gear shift mechanism in, get that all buttoned up and tidied up, and then there's a few other things I just want to get tidied up on the car before we finish up this episode. So gear shifter is just a standard at the moment, thanks to my washing machine for telling me the washing's done. It is just a standard at the moment. I am going to be putting a short shifter in there later on, but at the moment, for the purpose I need it, just driving it in and out of the garage whenever I need to move it, standard is quite fine. So short shifter will be going in sometime down the track, but at the moment it's just a standard. We'll get that in, get it hooked up, and then it should be good to go. We'll try and fire it up and see if everything works. Alright, shifter's in, handbrake's in, just got to hook up the fuel pump now, put the ECU back in, and then fire this thing up and see if we haven't stuffed anything up on this, which I don't think we have. I think it's pretty safe with the back end of the wiring. It'll just be the indicators and lights and stuff, but yeah, we'll get it started up and see how we do with this. Alright, now I've just taken the bracket for the clutch switch off, and then I'll push this switch in and see if we can get this fired up. Not too bad. Sounds like rubbish, but not too bad. Rubbish sounding exhaust. Don't worry, we'll get that tidied up. So I'll just try this now in neutral with the clutch switch pushed in. Beautiful. Alright, we might leave it there, guys. As you can see, the painting of the interior is done. There's a few different things I just want to touch up. But other than that, the wiring's tidied up. I just have to put these cables back in. That's for the rear hatch and the fuel door. They just go down here. I'll tidy those up, and then yeah, we will be well on our way to getting all the other little stuff done. So I'm very happy with the paint job. It's come out really, really well. I did have one of my friends came over and said, "Oh, are you going to do the doors as well?" Not really, because I'm going to put door skins on there. You've got to put a door skin on there, so there's no point in painting the door if you're just going to put a door skin on there. But yeah, floor pan in the interior is painted. I've just got to paint the roof as well. I'm going to paint that just because I'm not real happy with the jankiness of it. And then we'll get started on doing all the other little things to make this thing a full-on race car. So stick with it, guys. If you've got this far, thank you for hanging around. Give give it a like, subscribe to this channel especially so you can keep up with this build. Leave a comment, love hearing from you guys, and I'll see you next time. Cheers guys, see ya.